Hey everybody, and welcome back. Well, it's Monday, so I only saw you on Saturday. Nothing at all has happened since then, really. Still dry here. Do you know we're actually under a burn ban? You know, we live out in the country, sort of a lot of surrounded by woodland and stuff. So when it gets as dry as this, they ban you burning anything. You know, people like to burn rubbish and stuff like that, garden waste. Because of course we've got a lot of leaves at the moment, so it's annoying. Oh, pardon me, I've got an itchy nose. It's annoying because it's dry, it's a bit chilly now, but I could be riding, but I was advised against any sort of exertion around my middle, if you like, because of the tube in there. And actually I have found a couple of times that, I think I mentioned it in one of the videos, if I do something like when I walked up the hill and stuff like that, one or two peas will have a little bit of blood in them and then it clears up again. And oh, sorry about that. It would appear that having the tube in you does occasionally cause a little bit of blood in the urine, but it's nothing to worry about, people. Don't fret. So anyway, as I say, nothing has happened. I came out yesterday, spent an hour or so tidying up because it was getting really messy, you know, little bits of stuff everywhere from shaping the silencer. And I'll show you it in a minute, close up. But I had a little go at the welds and what have you on the silencer, so it looks much nicer. So, nothing much to say. Let's just move you around and we'll start doing some work. Alright, well, I actually gave this a rub over with the old, what do you call it? Scotch-Brite thing. Do you know, I am chuffed to death with that weld in there, that little autogenous weld, putting the pulse on. It just worked out beautifully. So anyway, as I say, I set to with a couple of different sanding devices, and I got rid of those welds. It still needs finishing off a little bit, and I did the welds at each end as well and gave it a quick polish up. So now you know, this inner tube I used was I don't know where I even got it from. It was only about 45 thou wall thickness, so it's a bit thin. Actually, it made it murder to try and weld, because those of you who maybe know TIG welding better than I do can tell me if I'm wrong on this. I had real difficulty with it, and then I decided that what it probably was, or what my main problem was, is it's so thin. I mean, I know people weld razor blades together and stuff, but you virtually, because there's so little metal there, you virtually can't form a puddle, or at least I can't get enough control to just form a puddle without going through. I think I mentioned before that a couple of the people I sort of like to watch or to pick up hints and tips from, whenever they're welding alloy, I've never seen them weld anything thinner than about 1/8 of an inch. 3/16, even a quarter, and you know, great big, they're using 1/8 inch rod. So when they strike up an arc, they got a huge thickness of metal. They can form this nice big puddle, and the puddle flows out, and they can just touch the rod into the leading edge of the puddle. But when you're doing really thin stuff, you virtually, you know, your puddle is just there. You can't get it to move around. Anyway, that's what I think it is. So that looks, oh, let me move you a little bit. That, I think, looks quite nice. Still a couple of places where the sanding is different, so I've got to go over it with some, I have some 600 that I use on the little air sander that gets me to a fine enough finish that will polish from there. Alright, so next question is, let me move you again very slightly. Open you out a little bit. What do we do next? Do we need to know where the airbox is going to be to shape? Because the oil tank is going to be one of those weird shapes again. Or do we make the oil tank and then fit the airbox in? I was asked about, I did answer the comment, I was asked about using a pod filter, and I do, as you know, on the BSAs, the 250s, I use a pod filter, but then the carb is right back here and the pod is under the seat and I have little side covers on. Here, if I put a pod on, it would be right out in the weather and the water being splashed up and dirt and stuff like that. So I'm going to make an airbox so we can have the filter part in here out of the way, it breathing into the box for that. So you're going to have to watch me do some thinking here. As I say, we're going to make it go down into here to give us some good volume. So we've got a piece that will go through there, down and through there, and then a piece that will come up here. Probably, will I make it come out on that? Yeah, probably a little bit, not much, because as you know, it's generally tucked in here. Oh, pardon me, coughs and itchy noses. It normally, yeah, you can see, it would normally fit in there and then be sort of within the plane of this top tube and this up and down tube, so that you're not, it's not sticking out. So I could still, now can't you see, because if it was like that, there's nothing, there's no space here. So we're going to have to build it in here to keep it from being bulky and catching on our legs. Although, as I say, if I'm going to be the one riding this, there's going to be no acrobatics. Never did do any acrobatics, and certainly not now I'm in my 70s, I'm not. So let me get some cardboard out. Oh, one thing I did do, hang on, I'm going to swing you around even more and open you out, so hold on. Yesterday it was just intriguing me. I dropped the rear suspension units off and lifted this. Well, actually I dropped that on the stand because I was worried about how close the swinging arm would come to the silencer here and the wheel coming in, and I was able to lift it until the wheel was right into the mudguard and it still wasn't touching the silencer, so it's fine where it is, and I think it's well in. I mean, you might touch it a little bit, but nothing problematic. Alright, so as I say, or should we do prop stand spring? Let's look at the prop stand spring. Let's get this job finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to make two posts out of this stainless steel rod, and we'll turn a groove into them for that to go on so that it won't pop out. Now what we need to do is, you've got to think about this like a triangle, because there are 3 points. We're going to have the spring fastened up here, that's 1 point. Then the spring is going to go onto here, that's the 2nd point when it's up there, and then the spring is going to be down here, that's the 3rd point. So it forms a triangle, and what we've got to do is we've got to have it so that when it's there and when it's there, the spring's not in a straight line. It's got to be at an angle, so there it's pulling it up, and there again same thing, it's pulling it up. So it's got to be, and then there's a point where it's dead straight, and that's the maximum stretch of the spring. But here and there the spring's got to be under tension, not too much. I mean, they're a really strong spring. So what we need, and as I say, this is made like this to go over the pivot point. So if we put it there, that'll pull that up. So that's just above that corner. However, that really wouldn't do for there. It's got to be more over that way. Where are we going to put it on this? Of course, it's not actually going to be on there, it's going to be up a little bit. So it's got to be on there. So it's going to have to be about, it's unfortunate, it's right on that. One's going to have to be there. And the other one, so we put the other one there. Yep, that would probably do it. Now then, we've got to be sure now that of course won't be there when we're standing on the bike. It'll be up there when we're riding. So, see, that and that will be fine. They stick out perpendicular at these faces, that'll be fine. But when it's down here, that's almost got to point up a little bit to keep a good firm grip of that. So you see what we'll do is when I'll turn this down. This is, actually I think it's 3/8. Hold on a second. Stay with me here. I believe it's 3/8 rod. It's actually stainless steel rod as well. Yeah, that's 3/8. So what we'll do is we'll turn that down to 1/4 for about 1/4 of an inch or so. Drill a 1/4 inch hole there, and then that goes in and that holds it. Then we'll bronze it. So let me cut a couple of these, turn the end down to 1/4 of an inch, and round the top off and put a little groove in. Right, so there's those made. They're not quite identical, but can't have everything, can you? So now I'm going to drill a hole in there. Have I ever told you I hate keyless chucks? There we go. I'll put a little chamfer on the end, and I've made these slightly bigger than a 1/4 inch hole. So that's because I might have to put them at an angle, and if they're in nice and tight, then you can do that. Actually, I might have made it too tight to fit. Yeah, I think I have. Hang on. Never fails, does it? I drilled it with a 1/4 inch drill bit, and now it's bloody well loose. Put a bit of tape on or something to hold it up slightly. Then I'll bronze that on there, which means I've got to bring the welder back over here. So let me do that. What I'll do actually is I'll put a little bit of bronze on, and then I can tap it around to where I think I'm going to need it. Now I'll put a little bit of bronze on the top, and I've tapped it up a bit. Now these springs, I've noticed, that and that aren't in the same plane. That is twisted round a little bit, so it gives you a little bit of leeway in how it fits onto this one. So does that want to be like that? Oh shit, look at that. That's not going to work, is it? I mean, it does there. I'm going to have to put a little bit of a bend in this. Hold on. Right. Put a little bit of a bend in there. And that seems to get it better. So if I put that there, that's a bit of a stretch for that. That's going to be about there. So you're still pulling this. I think I can put a little bit more bend in that. Hang on. I nearly walked off and left you switched on. So I bent it a bit more. Let me see if I can bend this slightly that way. Okay, I've got both little points on. This one I shortened it slightly to bring it in. And I have to admit I haven't got it exactly right, because from there, ooh, that's hot, to there is a little bit shorter than from there to there. I think it's still tight enough, and to be honest, I'd rather have it tight up here so that it doesn't flop down than have it a little less tension on it down there. So let's see if we can put this on here. Buga. Actually, it might be easier to put that one on up there. And I know there's going to be lots of, oh, do it with this, do it with that, do it with something else. Okay, as I said, it doesn't matter about that because it won't be there when your foot's actually on there. I think that's alright. We'll put a bit of rubber on there. Okay. I'll finish bronzing that when we take it all apart. Okay, that job's done. And it seems to be staying in the little grooves. They aren't being pulled at. That's a bit of an angle, but not too much. Alright, let me get some pieces of cardboard, take the welder away, get some pieces of cardboard and start looking at this oil tank. So we're going to build this oil tank in pieces, and then when it's all together we can flatten it out and see how to make it. So this is the first piece, and actually it could be bigger than this. So you could go right up to there, could come back a lot further, that could be a lot longer. And that is 554 cc's. Right. So I could make that longer. So then it's going to go under there a bit and then up on the other side. Let me just make it like this. Well, let me measure it and see what the volume's going to be. And then what we might do is slope the back just to make it look a little nicer. And with that coming up to the bottom of the carb and going over, there's going to be plenty of room for the air box, and I think we're going to have lots and lots of volume. So let me make some measurements. Alright, so that goes there. If I make this longer, make it 6 inches, which comes to about there, and then I just have a piece that comes up here, all simple and square, not leaning back to there, not coming out over the silencer any. Just keep that as simple as that is. Keep it away from the silencer, keep it under the carb, away from the chain, everything like that. Yeah, I could bring this out, bring it up. We got near enough 1400 cc's, and I'm looking for 1500 plus a bit of headspace. So, as I say, slope it back a little bit, make it come out here a little bit, come up to about here, fill a cap. We can get plenty of volume. Let me extend this and maybe make a piece come out and go up. Let me fiddle around. So that fits in like that. Now I'm thinking I'll slope the back, and from there I'll slope it, just to make it look a little nicer. Maybe even a curve like that, up to there and across. Because I can only slope it to there. That's in the way, isn't it? Okay, well it's lunchtime, so I'll go and eat and then I'll think some more. Right, it's coming together bit by bit. Doesn't look like it, but it is actually coming together. Gotta do some slight. I'm gonna take the carburetor off so we can put it on the bike. So as I say, this is just getting it together roughly. I've actually put a curve in this bottom piece to go around that a little bit. For some reason that I measured this, that top should be level. And I obviously mismeasured that, because that should be, but that's roughly the shape. And then the filler cap on the top. The turn pipe can come up around the back and in, the take off to the rockers. So I get just the same as we did it on the B44 one, and obviously the feed will go into the bottom of that. I want to try and get it so that I can have as few joints as possible. So I want to be able to cut it and fold it so that it comes up and folds over, and as I say, as few joints as possible. I might curve this, just little things to make it look nicer. But basically that is it. And I think, let me have a look here. Let me just calculate this as 2 boxes. Right, just measured this. It's 15 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 7 centimeters, which comes to just over a litre. And when we measured the bottom, where'd that come to? 700 cc's. The bottom. I've got it written down somewhere. I probably used a bit of cardboard I wrote it on. So anyway, I've got masses of space. So I can afford to slim this down a little bit, put a couple of curves in to make it look nicer. Okay, let me think about this some more. Oh, I took that bracket off, by the way, that was on the back of the frame, so that I could come right back. Alright, let's see what we can get done today. So from my rough mock-up, I've started to do a layout for the flat sheet of alloy. Okay, so this part here is the very base of that first box. And that, and that, the four sides coming up. Now this side, you'll see, has got a bit of a slope on it, and it's 2.5 inches at this end and 1 3/4 at this. That side runs along next to the silencer, and the silencer slopes down. So I decided it was good. I'm trying to make this, as I say, with bends rather than welds. I thought it was going to be a bit difficult to do the curved section and that there. So anyway, these fold up to the height of that bottom box. This is, as you can see, that's 2 3/4. This is 3 1/4. That's because I'm going to curve this over there. Then when this gets folded, that is going to be, in effect, the piece that goes on the top of there. And then that is going to be the side that comes right up to the top. And again, I've curved that. So then I just need flat pieces to come up this and along the top, and the same at the back. Right? And that's it sloping into the curve of the back tube, the spine of the frame. All right. So hopefully all these measurements are right. We'll go and lay this out on a piece of alloy, cut it out, anneal it, and then see, this is going to fold. These are all going to fold up this way. Then this one is going to fold over that way, and then that one is going to fold up that way. So once it's annealed, actually there's some handy things here as well. That this is 3 inches wide, so I can use a 1 2 3 block in there to fold this up and this up. 6 inches, I can use a 4 5 6 block to fold that up and that up, which will help. It's when we get to these that's going to be difficult. I can put that into the brake, bend it. Anyway, we'll see. Let's get it marked out in some alloy and annealed, and then we'll give the bending some thought. Alright, just to save you commenting, it's not a 4 5 6 block, is it? It's a 2 4 6 block. Alright. Stage 1. I don't want to be working with a sheet 2x4, so I've opened this out, all bar the piece on this side, just to give me a rough idea, because I've changed a couple of these measurements. I've made that slightly wider. But that's got my box, my side, my top, this side, and the main top. So that's just given me an idea. So I'll cut a piece off and then work with that rather than the big sheet. Well, I hope there isn't too much glare on this. It's a bit difficult with shiny metal. So there is that cardboard laid out. So again, that is the bottom of the box that sort of goes under the carburetor. There's the side that comes up with the slope on it to match the silencer. These bits here get cut out. That is that end that comes up, and that comes up to be at an angle because of the rear frame tube. This comes up here. We've got our corners marked to be a little bit curved, so that's going to curve around that a bit. Then this piece here is, let's say, that will come up like that, then that will go over, form the top on this. Then this piece here, now at this end I've just left it long because there it's going to have a curve in it, hopefully, to sort of make it fit into that tube, make it look nice. So that will, as I say, that will come up. That will be the flat. Then this will be the upright part, and then that will be the top. So then we'll have to make up sort of end pieces and this curved piece for here. So not too much. There's still quite a, you know, I mean, all these are going to be welded joints, but the thing is we're not going too far out. Right, so I'm going to mark over these with a scribe, because once I anneal it, of course, all of these felt tip pen markings will disappear, and I want to be able to see the bend lines. So this really is a fingers crossed moment. I have never done one as complicated as this, trying to make it in one piece. It may end up in the scrap bin, you never know. So let me go over all the lines that are staying. Actually, what I might do is get a bit of acetone and get rid of the ones so that I don't get confused, and then mark all the remaining ones up. And then I'll anneal it with the oxyacetylene, put the soot on, because it would take ages with the map to get that to heat all the way through. Alright, so let me get stuck into that. So there it is, cut out and scored on the fold lines, because they all fold this way. That one folds this way, but that one folds that way, so I've scored it on the back, and then this one folds this way. So let me anneal it, and then we'll see if we can do some folds. Alright, now we get the tricky bit. This is when these fellas that have the presses where these are in sections, so they can take them out and they're bigger. But we don't have that, do we? We have this. And a lot of people don't even have this. Okay, I think I can do that one. Up. Pull that out to there. Hang on, I'm going to turn you off. Alright, I thought for a minute that was as big as this, but that's 3 inches tall, this is 2.5. That's annoying. But I think we're going to be able to get really close. I think I can do that one, pull it back, do that one, pull it back, do that one. Oh, I turn it over to do that one, and then pull it out and do that one. I think there's only going to be one that's going to be slightly awkward, and that's the second one. Anyway, let's see what we can do. That roller is in the way. There we go. Right, so there's one. Shit, that's gone over. That's gone over right angled. I'm going to stop you again. Alright, bit of square. Yeah, I went well over there. Damn. Oh, that thing is in the back now. Oh, damn it. Ugh. Right, that's pretty close. See, if I can get it to start, then that helps. Right. And that is going to go in. Now we're going to have to do these on the bench. Bugger! Thought we could maybe do that all in this. I think we can do that one. They're all going over. But it's nicely annealed, so let's put it on the bench. Alright then, we're going to have to do this with a variety of backing things. So. Like thus. So that's that. That one can go in there like that. This is going to be noisy for you. I'm going to have to put my ear protectors in. So let me do some banging and bring you back. I'll show you a couple of setups. Here's one to get this thing done. Oh, I forgot I haven't put my ear things in. Hang on. Up. Okay. And there's a 1, 2, 3 block which will fit in. I'll use the plastic hammer. Well, that's bloody well miles out the way that's bent. Ah, bugger! Well, what a surprise. That was a measurement error on my part, but I've got to put in the complete piece in the back here. So I'll just make it longer and we're going to have a seam there, but never mind. So the next thing I've got to do is, before I fold this up, I've got to put a curve in it to go around that. So the next thing is to fold this up to here, and then actually I might put a few tacks on to start to hold it rigid. This one's going to be a bugger. I don't know how I'm going to get in to do that, but we'll think of something. We always do. There's that round. As I say, I think I'll do a couple of tacks. That needs to go to get tightened up a little bit. I've got some more things out that I can form stuff on. That's come out reasonably well. Let's say, let me get this right, and then we're going to do a bit of weld there. Right, well, so I've got that done all the way around there, and I've got that end done as well up there. You know, I'm still not getting complete penetration. It looks great, but it's not coming all the way through. I don't know. If I go any more, I just seem to hold it. I mean, I know it's supposed to almost keyhole and that you fill it in, but anyway, we'll keep going. So as you can see, I've still got to do a little bit of a bend up on that, and this is much too round. I wish I'd never done it in that bloody press now. That thing, I'm going to throw that away. Useless. So I've got to get something in there that I can square it up on that. Then we've got to think of some way to be able to fold that up and get it to a good square fitting. Get something up there. Anyway, it's actually lunchtime. All right. I've done all that welding. Never touched the tungsten once. No problems at all. And the very last little bit I did got a bit ugly. Right. So the next thing we need to do, as I say, I cut this big because I'm going to get it to curve there. So, hang on. I keep asking you to hang on, don't I? Instead of editing things out of it, but what the hell? You've got nothing better to do, have you? So first of all, I bent up a piece of rod. And then I transferred that to a piece of cardboard. Alright? So now what I need to know is where this curve is going to start. We want that to be almost as low as we can get it, because it needs to be below the carburator. So it wants to be about there. So now we put that in to match up with our curve. And that's where our curve is going to start. Now we're going to put that, cut that off, put that onto there, mark that out, cut it. And there we go. I think we want maybe a little bit off the top. There, we'll get your square onto it, see if I can do it without getting in the way. There we are. So that's going to go in there, so it's a little bit off the silencer. And that should be alright, excuse me. I think I've got to see if I can try and bend that out a little bit. Let me see how far. off the silencer a little bit. Yep, that clears the carb. Everything is good. Now we have the tricky side to do with the other curved piece. Right, so we've got all this done, all welded up. I actually cut this at a bit more of an angle. I just checked it in there and it needed to come down more to follow the silencer. I've also cut a hole in the top for where the filler cap's going to be. Now we get to the tricky bit. I mean, this was tricky enough, but this is, it's going to come up this way because we've got to put a curve in it to go around the silencer. So the curve is there, but then it doesn't keep going up. It's got to come back here and back there. So I have cut a piece and just annealed it which I'm hoping is going to be, should be big enough to do the whole thing. So first we're going to put this in the rollers to get that curve on it, and then it's got to be bent back. Alright, so let's go and see what we can do. So if my piece of cardboard is to be believed, 2 inches of it is curved, and then we want the bend. So let's think. What was it? Anti-clockwise, wasn't it? So clockwise will make it go down. Get this so it's coming up through there the same. That was going the wrong way there, wasn't I? Some things could be easier, you know, and then of course you wouldn't have to sit around waiting for things to happen quite so much, would you? Right, that seems to be coming through straight. Then we go half and a half. I'll have to get this fastened down as well. Half and a half. Right, let me go and check this against the silencer. Actually, there's a more accurate way to do it. This is 2.5 inches. That's 1 inch. So it's got to curve out 1.5 inches to come up and meet this. And that's not even 1 inch yet. Did you see that? I actually measured there. I didn't just say, oh, that looks about right. Half. Hang on, I'll turn you off until I'm right. Okay, so this is now 1.5 inches. Right, so what I'm going to do is bend this up like that. Alright. Now of course it won't go in the brake, so I was trying to think how I was going to get this to bend and keep this curve right. And then I remembered that one auction I went to, well, I think where we bought some stuff, the fella had made a lot of different shaped watsits to go in the press. So I think, with a bit of luck, we might be able to use this. No, that's undoing. I might have to bend that over a form. Hang on, where's the other? Oh, hang on. All right, we'll try this. Come on! Considering you've been annealed, you're not bending very well. I should have just bent this and then formed this around something suitably round, you know that? Shouldn't have. Yes, Michael, you should have. Alright, let me go and check this on the bike. I've got to make another one. And that goes on. It's too short. That's got to be bent round that way a bit, which will bring this down. Then it misses that. And I couldn't imagine why. And then I thought, I know why. I made this using the original piece of cardboard, and of course I cut that at an angle so this came down. So it doesn't want to be whatever that was, it wants to be longer that way. So that is an absolute bugger, and that is going to wait until tomorrow, so I'll see you then. So left it till this morning. There's the new piece, so hopefully that'll all match up. Part of it was drawing that piece was easy. See, I put it on that way, so that was easy. To get these bits around here, what I did was I put it on and then I used a square, went round like that and marked. You can see there, there. So fingers crossed again, this should come out right. Well, that seems to be about it. That goes from there to there. Everything looks good. Alright, I'm going to tack there, tack along the top, and then we'll make up these two end pieces. Because as you can see, they've got to be drawn out to be right. So let me just go ahead and do that because I'm virtually up to an hour and this is all I'm going to do this week. Well, here's what gets to me, look. I just welded that. Look at it. It is perfect. So then I go around to the bottom part and look at it. Absolute rubbish. It's as if I haven't got the oxide off and it's melting through. And I was so pleased with that one. Alright. Alright, well, is that cool? That's so nice. All welded up. And you know what? All that welding went perfectly until I got to, where is it? That one corner. It's probably taken me as long to do that corner. I don't know how many times I've ground it out, redone it, ground it. Just kept getting it. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is see what the volume is. Now, we're going to be over an hour actually, but bear with me. I don't think I've ever got one of these to come out at what I've calculated it to, but we shall see. Right, that's 900 mil. It's basically basically a quart. And hang on. No, sorry, 500 mil. I was going to say, sure this thing's only a pint. 500. Thousand. So there's a litre. And that bloody corner's leaking. A tiny leak at that corner as well. Okay. There's 1500. Oh, and I'm a long way down. God, I'm leaking all over. Let's find out, just out of interest, exactly how much there is. We're losing a few cc's, but that's alright. What was that? That's 2 litres, okay? We've got a little dribble. We're just underneath. So that's plenty. Alright, and that's it for this week. So until I see you next week, you stay safe and enjoy yourselves.